Hey, for this part of the code, I try to explain how I do the elimination for homework assignment number 2. Okay. So I want to interpret this part of the code to just tell you that how I actually deal with it. So first, I have to say I have a string which basically contain all the alphabets that's already being eliminated by previous guesses. So impossible, if you take a look at this, is just a string character star. Okay. And so the logic flow is like this. I actually want to make sure that for all the following guess, I try to make it a guess. Those words must not contain any of the letter in the impossible string. Okay, does that make sense? So let me just write it down what I just said. So we will go through all the possible words, 5-letter words in solution.txt. Okay, so that because all the possible words must be under solution.txt. And then essentially impossible is a string containing all the alphabet eliminated during earlier guesses. Okay, so in other words, that I can actually filter those words, filter or eliminate those words in solution.txt if they contain any letter from impossible. Okay, so that's the strategy that help us to reduce the valid candidate. So we will be able to narrow down the possible solution candidate. Okay, so now let's actually look at the code to see how I actually got this work. So basically what I did is first I check whether impossible is null. If it's null, of course I cannot do anything. But then I also actually check whether the impossible, the string length is greater than 26, because at most you shouldn't have even 21, right? I mean 22. I mean, if it's 26, I definitely just return null. So then this part of the code, I basically start to grab everything from, okay, I actually use fp_all, which is essentially all.txt, but I think you should do solution.txt instead, okay? Okay, so I'm just in mind when I developed this, I was using fp_all. So I first create a 2-dimensional array, which is not really 2-dimensional array, is actually 1-dimensional array of string pointer. Okay, so that's why I create this. I create basically is big enough. And then I basically using fseek to set the file pointer to the beginning. That's why it's fp_all 0seek, which means that I already opened the file. This means that I already opened the file. If you haven't opened the file, just try to reopen it here. fp_all already open, already f open. Okay, so just try to explain that. So now I actually try to grab everything into a buffer. So you can see that in this while loop, I basically go through FP all one by one. And then every time I actually got the word into buffer. Okay, so here is a trick. Not too many of you probably see this before. You see, I'm actually using fscanf, but I'm actually using a format string. And the format string is not %D or %S or %C, but instead it's a % bracket. % bracket basically say I want to match a particular character. And essentially this is basically say, you see that this part, this means not. The negative means that you actually try to grab everything until you hit a new line. So that is a very, I write so many C programs. This is actually the most useful to me to actually parsing the string. So I basically want to include every single character until I hit a particular character I want. Okay, so so essentially this is basically say, I'm basically grabbing everything before the new line, simple. Okay, that's just helped me to get one line at a time. Okay, once I do this, and then as if it's end of file, that means I actually already running out. Of course, I stop. Okay, so now it's inside here is interesting. So first, I actually run the two index, one is I and J. So I is basically say, hey, I go through every single impossible letter. Okay, and then the J is those 5 letters that I just got from the buffer. So now if the buffer buffer J, any of the 5 letter is actually the same with any of the letter from impossible, then I set the flag to be 1. So if the flag is a 0, that means it's not being eliminated. Then I basically, you can see, then I basically include it in the solution set, global solution. But if it's not, then you can see that if not, then I just basically don't even include that buffer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's how I actually do the elimination.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you can watch the video to see the detail. Okay. Any question with homework 2 over here as well? Other people?
You kind of had this like a hack that you did in Wordle ecs36b.
Right.
I was wondering if I really wanted to do something insane, could I just continue this for every single solution?
Exactly. That's what I hope you to develop. I mean,
Okay.
you can start that show you 2 things. You can continue, and that show you can actually do your whatever your code, your logic at that particular spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could just straight up, like, if you look at all the solutions here,
right,
just use all these solutions and then like continue adding on to this.
Sure, you can do that.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we can never use a hack, right? So
you feel free to use any of those.
Okay.
Yeah, free to use, and using that is not considered. Yeah. Yes.
I just want to make sure. I'm sorry if this is a silly question, but like we're not allowed to like just enter like the word into like guess, right?
Right.
Okay.
Just no human,
Okay.
intervention. It's just everything let the computer do it.
No, I mean like so like in the program, like there's the word, which is the actual word you're trying to resolve. And then there's like the guess, which is like the user input usually, but it can be computer input, like in this case.
Right.
We're not allowed to like make that like just guess, right? Like just to reprogram it so that it's just
You said make the word to be guess.
oh, excuse me, make the guess to be word.
No, don't
Okay,
do
okay.
that. That's the only case that's cheating. Yeah.
Okay, I did.
Yeah. That's only I can do this for I did that once and just to prove a point. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other
So
question?
we get rid of the number of max tries, right?
Yeah, get rid of the you can try as many times as you want.
Okay, so it just keeps going until it wins.
Right, until you wins. Yeah. I assume the worst strategy for you to try is just worse but acceptable strategy is just open all.txt and try each of them brute force doesn't even check the impossible, and eventually will stop, right? That's fine. That's acceptable for homework 2 this time.
You recommend using the solution text, not the alt text.
Yeah, solution.txt is smaller. My understanding of the code is that whenever they generate a word, which is a solution, they use solution.txt. So you don't have to use alt.txt. I mean, yeah, it should be okay. Yeah, it's a little bit faster, but the computer, they don't have a feeling. You use
Yeah.
whatever, they're okay.
But if you,
So we also need to show all the process, even the computer make like thousands of guess.
You don't have to, what do you mean by showing the,
Like the computer make one guess, you print out. the
yeah,
whole-
yeah, why don't you just print out whatever the computer gets? Yeah,
but if you do brute force, will it run in a reasonable amount of time?
it should be because if you look at all.txt is about 12,000 plus words. 12,000 words is so easy for any of the computer like this to handle. Yeah. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah. Okay, any other question for homework 2? Okay, I'm going to stop recording.